Let me show you how to shoot." The line came from a captain who'd never seen real combat, standing before a woman who already had 37 confirmed kills in her logbook. Staff Sergeant Devin Cole didn't bother correcting him. She simply nodded, stayed quiet, and let him believe whatever story made him feel tall. But 3 weeks later, when a Navy SEAL commander opened her file and found numbers that didn't fit the quiet figure everyone overlooked, he asked one question that rewrote everything. Why is the best sniper in this whole region pretending she can't shoot? Staff Sergeant Devin Cole was 29, with the kind of face people forgot 5 minutes after seeing it. She stood 5'4", slim, moving through rooms as if trying not to exist. Camp Valor in Kandahar province sprawled across the dust. Rows of tents, vehicle bays, and too many people pretending to stay busy. Devin had been stationed there 4 months, serving as an Army liaison and sniper augment for a Marine Expeditionary Unit on Joint Ops. Wherever you're watching from, drop a comment. And if stories like this one hit you, hit subscribe. It really does help Old Bill's tales keep going. Devin grew up in northern Wyoming on a ranch her grandfather bought after Korea. He'd been a Marine sniper with the 1st Division at Chosin Reservoir, and he'd taught her to fire the same rifles he once carried. By 16, she could drop prairie dogs at 400 yards using only iron sights. He never made it complicated. He'd say shooting isn't about being quick or loud. It's about being right. When he passed, he left her his worn-out M1 Garand and a single scrap of paper with his confirmed kill count written in pencil, 14. She carried that paper through basic, through sniper school, and through 2 long deployments. Now 37 confirmed herself, more than twice his record, and almost no one knew. Her grandfather had given her more than marksmanship. He'd taught patience, how to stay motionless for hours, how to read wind by the sway of grass, how to calm her pulse until the reticle stopped trembling. He'd also taught that the finest shooters were the ghosts nobody ever noticed. She enlisted at 21, fresh off a math degree from a small state college nobody remembered. The recruiter told her the infantry would waste her talent, but she refused to budge. It took nearly a year before she earned a slot at the Army sniper course, one of only 2 women accepted. The other washed out by week 3. Devin finished 2nd overall and never mentioned it again. Her first deployment was to Kandahar, attached to a ranger platoon as part of a sniper team. 6 months, 19 kills, all clean shots, all from distances most shooters couldn't dream of. Her spotter, Staff Sergeant Ricks, nominated her for a commendation, but battalion sent the packet back stamped insufficient corroboration. No reason, just a rejected form and a handshake. Her second tour was different. She'd been reassigned to a new unit, separated from Ricks, surrounded by strangers who didn't know her work. The first time she stepped into a briefing, a lieutenant asked if she was lost. When she told them she was the sniper, the lieutenant laughed, not cruelly, just like he thought it was a joke. After that, she stopped bothering to prove anything. She simply did her work and stayed silent. It made life simpler. The captain's name was Mason Reeve. He was 34, West Point polished, and had been in country barely 6 weeks. He'd never fired a shot outside a controlled range, but he spoke like a man who'd written the rule book. When he spotted Devin's name on the duty roster listed as sniper, he pulled her aside during a briefing and made an offer that sounded more like mockery. "Let me teach you how to shoot. I used to compete in college. I can show you a few tricks." Devin had been holding her data book, the one that held her kill log. She closed it carefully and met his eyes. "That's generous of you, sir." "Thank you." He grinned, proud of himself, as if he'd just done her a kindness. "Don't mention it. We'll start next week." She never showed up, but the damage was already done. Word travels fast in a place like Camp Valor. The story was that the new captain was training the quiet girl sniper. People started seeing her differently, or rather, stopped seeing her at all. When mission rosters went out and sniper assets were requested, her name quietly disappeared. They chose other shooters, guys with fewer kills and weaker scores. Devon stayed benched and didn't complain. It went on 2 full weeks. Then a tasking came from a SEAL unit operating in the north. They needed a precision marksman for a high-value target mission. Several candidates were available, but the request came with a strange line. "Send your best. No politics." The operations officer started combing through files, checking scores, range cards, confirmed kills. When he opened Devon's record, his face changed. He called her in and asked one question. "Why didn't you ever say anything?" She just shrugged. "Nobody asked, sir." That night, Devon sat outside her tent holding the old folded paper her grandfather had given her. The pencil marks had faded, smudged by years of sweat and dust. 14. She traced the number with her thumb. She remembered the last time she saw him, 2 weeks before he passed. He'd been in a hospital bed, lungs shot but mind sharp. He'd asked if she still shot. She'd said yes. He'd asked if she was any good. She'd told him she was trying. He'd smiled, one of those small smiles that said everything without words. "You're better than trying," he'd told her. "I can tell." She thought of the officers who'd looked past her, the ones who saw someone small, quiet, and mistook that for weak. She thought of Captain Reeve and his patronizing grin. "Let me teach you to shoot." As if she hadn't been pulling triggers since age 10. As if her logbook wasn't filled with names, distances, and wind calls that could make seasoned shooters sweat. She wasn't angry. Anger burned too much energy. She was just tired. Tired of being unseen. Tired of being dismissed. Tired of pretending it didn't sting. But it did matter. Because tomorrow she'd be flying north to link up with a SEAL task unit. And for the first time in months, someone would see exactly what she could do. The SEALs operated out of a small forward base near Darya Outpost. Devon flew in at dawn aboard an MH-60 and was greeted by the unit commander, Colonel Dean Mercer. He was 51, lean, gray at the temples, with the kind of eyes that measured everything. He looked at her a long moment, then gave a single nod. "You're Cole." "Yes, sir." "I've gone through your file. 37 confirmed KIA. That number legit?" "Yes, sir. Verified in my log and backed by after-action reports and spotter statements." He handed her a slim folder. The target was a Taliban financier named Qadir, moving between safe houses in rural terrain west of the base. Intel had him pinned to one compound, but the window to act was narrow. They needed him eliminated before he slipped away again. The issue was the distance, 1,800 meters across open ground with no cover for approach. The only solution was one clean shot from a ridge overlooking the site. Higher command had approved the HVT status and cleared engagement under Theater ROE. Colonel Mercer walked her into the operations center and spread a map over the table. The other SEALs stood watching in silence. One of them, a lieutenant commander, raised an eyebrow. "She's Army?" Mercer didn't even glance up. "She's the best marksman in the region. That's all you need to know." Devon studied the map. The shot was doable, but far from simple. Wind would cross the valley in unpredictable layers. The slope was steep, and the target might not stay still. She asked about drone coverage, movement patterns, and the next day's weather. Mercer had every answer ready. The lieutenant commander's doubt faded fast. They moved out at 0400. Devon went with a small team, Mercer, 2 SEALs, and her spotter, Petty Officer Harlow, a man who'd worked extreme ranges before. They climbed the ridge under darkness, slow and deliberate. By sunrise, they were in position. Devon set up her rifle, a custom M2010 enhanced sniper rifle chambered in .300 Winchester Magnum, her trusted weapon for over a year. Harlow laced the compound through his designator. 1830 meters. They calculated the firing solution together, inputting atmospheric data into a handheld Kestrel ballistic computer. Temperature, barometric pressure, humidity, slope, ammunition, ballistic coefficient. The numbers came back with a heavy elevation correction. Windage shifted constantly. Harlow scanned the valley through his scope, reading mirage, calling shifts and gusts. The radio broke in with static. Target is mobile, repeat. Kadir is outside, moving toward a vehicle. Devon settled behind the rifle, peering through the scope. There he was, a figure in a tan jacket crossing the compound. She started her breathing cycle, slow and steady. Harlow whispered, .3 left, hold. She adjusted, locked her sight, and waited for the space between heartbeats. The shot broke clean. The rifle kicked against her shoulder. Devon stayed in the glass long enough to see the hit. The bullet had been airborne for just over 3 seconds, dropping dozens of meters from bore line before striking home. Kadir dropped instantly. A perfect center mass hit. The men near him scattered in panic, but he didn't move. Harlow keyed the radio. Target down. Confirmed, came the reply. Colonel Mercer, standing just behind them, said nothing for several seconds. He only watched through his binoculars while the compound below exploded into chaos. Then he lowered them and glanced at Devon. That was flawless. She cleared her rifle, began packing up. Thank you, sir. He crouched beside her. Why the hell have you been benched for 2 weeks? She hesitated before answering. Because people see what they expect, sir. Mercer shook his head. Not anymore. Back at base, he called a meeting with the operations staff. Captain Reeve was there, along with the officer who'd been ignoring Devon's name on mission rosters. Mercer didn't raise his voice. He simply laid her file on the table and walked them through every confirmed kill, every range card, every qualification. He pulled up after-action reports, ISR images, and witness statements from spotters. Then he turned to Reeve. You offered to teach her to shoot. Reeve's face flushed. Sir, I didn't. Mercer cut him off. She's logged 37 confirmed kills. You've got none. Next time you try to teach someone, make sure you know more than they do. Devon stayed with Mercer's SEAL task unit for the remainder of her tour. She scored 6 more kills, each at extreme range, each perfectly clean. The SEALs stopped calling her the quiet army girl and started calling her the one who never missed. Mercer nominated her for a Bronze Star, attaching Harlow's after-action report, OISR confirmation, and witness accounts from the entire team. This time, it stuck. The citation praised her precision, calm under fire, and decisive action that prevented a costly ground assault while neutralizing a financier funding insurgent operations across Kandahar province. When she finally rotated home, her record updated. 37 became 43. The worn paper from her grandfather stayed in her pocket, though she no longer needed to check it. She already knew the number, and now everyone else did too. Captain Reeve never offered to teach anyone to shoot again.
I just want to take a moment to say a huge thank you to each and every one of you. Folded hands, your love, support, likes, comments, and subscriptions mean the world to me. Without you, this journey wouldn't be possible. Every view, every share, and every encouraging word keeps me motivated to create more content for you all. I'm truly grateful to have such an amazing community by my side. Let's keep growing together and making this journey even more special. Red Heart.